Hello and welcome to our channel today. I just put up a new blog post and I am very excited to talk to you about today's topic because it is near and dear to my heart. Many years ago, when I was probably about 18 years old, I was going through some difficult things, as only a 17, 18-year-old teenage girl can understand. And life just felt kind of difficult and heavy, and I was trying to figure things out, and there was a lot of things on my mind. And one night as I was praying, the Lord gave me a song. And the song that he gave to me was all about what we're going to talk about today. And the song was all about basically giving our burdens to the Lord and submitting ourselves to him and to his care, and knowing that he loves us, and knowing that we are safe with him, and that he's a safe person to do life with, if I can say it that way. He's a very present help in time of trouble. And so I want to just read some of this as we get started here today. It says, "The weight we carry and do not have to." And I think, of course, that second part is the most important. We don't have to carry this weight, but we do. And we're going to talk a little bit about that. Some weights are invisible. No one sees them, but we feel them every hour of the day. For me, it is often the pressure to meet expectations. Sometimes those expectations are spoken, but more often they live in my own head. The result is the same, a heaviness that makes even small tasks feel harder than they should. And so sometimes, we put weights upon our own minds, expectations of what we think we should be doing, how we think we should look, how we think we should talk, how we think we should show up. And it's often based on what we imagine as the expectation of other people. And we take that and apply that to ourselves. And we hold ourselves to a very high, what's the word I want, where we basically just don't give ourselves any room or any space to decide what it is that we want to do and how we want to show up, because we are trying so hard to please everybody else. And so we have these expectations. And sometimes, if you're a part of a group, or if you go to a church, you're around people, online communities can even have this where you're not really sure how you're supposed to show up or what you're supposed to do. And so we begin to make up things on our own. So I'm going to keep reading. There are also the weights of guilt and regret, the voice that says, you should have done more, you should have been better. Those voices can also come out as in, you shouldn't have said this, you shouldn't have said that, you overshared, and on and on and on it can go. These words do not come from God, but they are powerful enough to shape the way we see ourselves. So a lot of this is our inner dialogue. This is what we are telling ourselves. And we can't be, we can't be foolish enough to not recognize that the enemy, the devil, plays on this, and he tries really hard to make us think less of ourselves and to push us down. Because if we are feeling pushed down by these weights, are we going to be able to be effective? Are we going to be able to do what God's called us to do? Are we going to be able to be an encouragement to somebody else if we're over here feeling the guilt and the weight, and the regret and the worry? Of course, we know the answer is no. And so there's this kind of back and forth thing that happens. And so let's keep reading here. It says, the truth is, I and you We're never meant to carry those burdens. Grace was never designed to add weight. It was given to release it. We've been talking at our Wednesday night Bible studies about that we're living in a period of grace. We are no longer living under the law, but we are living under grace because Jesus came to fulfill the law. There are many wonderful things in the law. That was God's perfect law. But we are in a period now of grace, and we sometimes we misunderstand what that grace means. I think it's easy for us sometimes to have grace for everybody else, but not for ourselves. And so now there's always those people who get it the other way around, but we're not going to talk about that today because I think most of us are so hard on ourselves. And so I'm going to keep reading. It says, I find myself needing reminders of this almost daily. And it's true. I really do. Because I'm hard on myself. And if you're hard on yourself, leave me a comment. I completely understand where you are. I completely know what that is like. Jesus said, let's talk about Jesus. Come unto me, all ye that labor and are heavy laden, and I will give you rest. That's found in Matthew 11, verse 28. And all of those verses around that verse are also so powerful. Rest is not something we earn. It is something he gives. And so going back to my story, when I was 17, 18 years old, God gave me this song. And basically the entire song was that he was inviting me to come to him and to lay my burdens down and to not feel that I had to carry all of this because his yoke is easy. His burden is light. The heaviness that I feel is my own burden. It's what I put upon myself. When I pause long enough to hand it back to him, oh yes, I can feel the burden lift. How often do we forget to do this though, right? We carry it, and then one day we're like, oh wait, why am I still doing this? Here, Jesus, I'm going to give it back to you again. The task might still be waiting. The situation might not have changed, but the weight of guilt and self-condemnation loosens. When we take those burdens off of our own back and we give them to him, then all of a sudden everything changes. Because you know why? It's not on me anymore. Because I can trust him. And so I give it to him. Carrying these loads does not make me holier or more responsible. Ooh, wow. This is so true. Because sometimes we think that we're expected to show up a certain way and do a certain thing and be a certain person. But that doesn't make me any holier. You know, we've all known people who pretend to be holy, who pretend to have it all together all the time. And I don't know about you, but they make me tired. It's like, I am so not perfect. I have such a long way to go. And it also doesn't make me more responsible. I am not responsible for all of the people in my life. I can only do so much. I care about them. I love them. But I can't carry their load for them. I can help them. I can pray for them. I can support them. But I have to release all of this to the Lord, because what this does, and this is what I had written here, it only drains me. And if you've ever felt drained, you know what I'm talking about. Releasing them, and by them it's these loads, makes room then for grace and for peace and for trust that God is the one who sustains. I don't have a lot of strength within myself in any way, you know, emotionally, mentally, physically. I just don't. I am who I am. I'm a grandma, you know, I'm over here doing my thing, but I have to realize that I can't carry everything. And there are days that I have to just step back, sit down, and say, Jesus, here it all is again. We will all face days when the weight feels heavier than we can handle. And I'm going to say we can face days, we can face weeks, we can face months, and sometimes we can even face years when there is a weight that we feel upon us. In those moments, I hope you remember that God is not asking you to prove yourself by carrying it alone. Things happen. Sicknesses happen, financial problems. We lose people in our lives that we love. We're disappointed by relationships or just our jobs. Things can happen. There's so many different ways, and we all know relationships fail. But God knows and sees all of it. He is asking you, and I think that's one of the things I love about Jesus is he invites me. My dad, who was a pastor, used to always say that God is a gentleman. He will not force himself upon you. He will not make you do anything. He invites you. He makes himself available. He is asking you to let him carry it with you. Because, we talked about the yoke, and that's what the yoke is, back in the day, they would put two big bulls, next to each other, and they would, plow the fields, but they had to stay together because they had this wooden yoke that kept them together in sync with one another. So he's asking you to let him carry it with you, and in many cases, for you. Grace is not another burden. Grace is the release. So I pray today that you will feel his sweet grace, that you will know that he loves you, his grace and peace are for you. And if I can say it this way, give yourself a break. Step back and think about what's actually going on the inside of you. Because sometimes we're trying so hard to do all the things and please all the people that we forget that we serve a God who loves us. We serve a God who is very present, who wants to walk with you and help you carry that burden. And sometimes he carries the burden for us, and sometimes he carries us. I have felt that from the Lord before. So be encouraged today. Know how very much the Lord loves you. I pray you have a wonderful day, and we will see you again next time.